Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Ardo O'Cal. I'm in the ESPN Esports studios, and right here, in just a second, you will see Emily Rand live from Los Angeles. Let's talk a little Call of Duty, shall we? And if we're going to do that right now, Emily, we're going to have to talk about Hecz. Optic Hecz is no more. You can trade 5 letters for 3. NRG. What a win-win situation for NRG. This is a huge move, especially for that Call of Duty Chicago team.
Yeah, I think this is, so with all of the player rumors going around, this is definitely the biggest CWL roster announcement that we've had thus far. I think it's a really good fit. NRG has actually built their brand pretty well already in the Overwatch League with the San Francisco Shock. Hector is someone who obviously knows how to build a brand. He built the Call of Duty brand in Optic. And now that Optic is no more, I hope that his talents mesh well with, the NRG management. And it's a great move for the Chicago team. Again, he knows how to build a brand. He has a massive cult of personality. People are already saying, okay, like, we're swapping from Optic to NRG. Like, let's go. We'll support the Chicago team. So.
I love that there was a tweet from Hastro saying, I guess the E Clasico now is going to be Dallas versus Chicago, which was really good. But let's talk about that very interesting point there, the fans, the players. So Hecz moves to NRG, Call of Duty Chicago. What players will move with him, and will the fans for the former Optic Gaming move along with Hecz as well?
So the response from fans have been a lot of people are following him to Chicago. I think we'll also have to wait and see where the other players from Optic are going. Right now, the only Optic player who's rumored to be going with Hector is Scump, who is also like massively popular player. So a lot of people will follow him there as well. The entire roster that they have that's rumored, again, like these are all rumors, there haven't been any formal roster announcements, but it's RCD's formal, Gunless, Scump, and Envoy, which is a very strong roster. Obviously, we have to take into consideration that Modern Warfare is going to be a completely different game, and that's something that is inherent to Call of Duty, where the game actually changes entirely from year to year, right? But on paper, it still looks like a really good roster. I think we will see a lot of fans, because they're going to be torn, right, as to whether to follow the, Optic, which was bought out by Immortals and is one of the Los Angeles teams, or Hector and Scump rumored to go to Chicago. But I do think a lot of fans will follow them to Chicago.
So speaking of longtime esports leaders and pioneers, we also have a little bit of the leadership set for the London franchise. We did hear last week Seattle and London will also be joining the upcoming Call of Duty League. So Odie is a name, of course, tied with Rekt right now and Rogue, but he will be involved with the London franchise.
Yep, and then you also have Joey, who people might know from, they definitely might know his face, because it was the icon for units, right, after the whole Denial Esports thing went down, which we won't touch upon that, but he is on their coaching staff. We have a couple of former Team Reciprocity members also on their coaching staff, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do. I was actually pretty down on Rogue and League of Legends due to the roster they signed, and then they ended up doing super well. So, all the best for London, and I think their management and their coaching staff is really interesting to watch.
So, Emily, we are coming up to a very interesting offseason, right? You spoke with Nadeshot in studio, where he basically said, I'm not going to get involved very much with the Call of Duty League that's coming up. And then we saw the announcements there with 100 Thieves and CSGO. But what do you think is going to shake down? What other big announcements do you think we will see? And, which teams will continue to be involved with Call of Duty versus leave? I think we're up for a very interesting offseason.
What's going on this offseason reminds me a lot of what happened in the initial LCS pre-franchising offseason, where you have brands tying themselves to these COD franchises, and then you have, the World Championship team in E United is likely going to be torn apart. The current Optic roster is going to be torn apart. There have been a ton of rumors around, FaZe is splitting apart. 100 Thieves, obviously, since they're not going into the league, that roster is going to be up for grabs. And by roster, I mean people are going to be picking and choosing players. So we're going to see a lot of shakeups in the league. And right now, like, a lot of the roster announcements are just rumored. But even the rumored roster announcements have a lot of these really strong teams getting picked apart with players going to different franchises. So it's definitely a volatile time, but it's also a really interesting time.